before buyers or builders are allowed to get in, and for that reason, it is more orderly. He says the building industry, one of the biggest benefits is that building or construction is itself a major boost for the economy. He says every society that wants to stimulate the economy looks to construction. He enumerates a couple of benefits of the individual. He says it helps you to avoid problems with land acquisition, land security, having to pay different professionals like architects, QS, structural engineers, landscape engineers. And he says you get to also avoid artisanal problems, especially with imitation procurement. So he says plan to buy. Don't lock capital in uncompleted buildings around the whole country. And when you do that through a mortgage, you unlock capital and you get your house now. What side of the argument do you belong to? I'm going to share your thoughts that you have shared with me in a few minutes, and then when I come back from this break, allow my guests to also give their counter arguments against what the other party has said, because I'm sure that when Kwame or Kwame Mensah was talking, someone was tapping his feet and saying, I will get to that point. And likewise, Reverend has just sugared and folded his arms, just waiting to just finish Samuel Ewell on some of the points that he raised. But listen, one thing is clear: you must own your own house. But how do you do it? Do you buy or do you build? Even when you buy, you still build, and when you build, you still buy. But which one is which? We'll talk about that when we come back from this break. But Springboard is brought to you by Legacy and Joy 99.7 FM, and we are partnered in this project by fine brands like MTN Pulse Just Be, the Enterprise Group, Enterprise Your Advantage, UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, DigiBank Let's Go, and Access Pension Trust, your reliable partner in pensions. Let me go for a brief commercial break. When I come back, let's talk about what you have been saying, and let's find out what are the results of that poll that has been running since Friday. Please don't go away.
When you don't have the Enterprise Advantage app, you're not in control.
Boss.
Yes, Akwesi.
I'm at where they sell the coat. What size do you like?
What coat?
Coat. Office coat.
I said get me a quote. Quotation from Enterprise. You pan.
Oh.
What? Oh.
Save yourself from the stress. Take advantage of the Enterprise Advantage app. Make your claims, check statements, request for a quote, and buy a policy from any of our subsidiaries. What's more, you can also get health tips, traffic information, find mechanic shops, and more on your Enterprise Advantage app. Download the Enterprise Advantage app on Google Play and Apple Store now. Here is to 95 years of trust.
Enterprise, your advantage.
I'm back. What kind of phone is this?
Hey, Joe, I told the coloring to have a radio. Chance not for you. Over upgrade. Shasuna dial *120*1#. Nabeka MTN will level probo. If we and never pin every busumi in a year, would your Kosuna use with MTN number? Do more now, but we need 20,000 iPro 5S phones to move up. Cafe door, Bob, come up, test it. Now, for Chama Monica, I bet now. I said, Ubecha new ringtone. So, Osaka with iPro 5S phone. MTN will level probo. New year, new phone, new ringtone. We are good together. We're there for you everywhere you go.
All right, so it's 28 minutes to the hour of 8 o'clock, and as you can guess, the debate is raging. Somebody says, Charlie, open the phone lines. Open the phone lines. We have to talk. I will see what I can do about that. But it is about to build or to buy, and people are talking about their own experiences. Let me share a few of them with you, and let's find out what people are saying on social media. But the poll has 788 votes. Francis Kennedy Oklu, the man they called Awareness General, says stories of buying where inferior materials are used are too much. Buyers allege that they have to keep replacing inferior materials and even dealing with cracks. Prince Lloyd Nyaku, pastor, says, I tried buying a house and I regretted the quality I was presented with. I later asked for a refund and lost part of it, and therefore decided to build my house myself. Edward Senade says, this is this is absolutely no substitute for experience. You build upon what you have by going through the mill. All right, let me go to Lawrence Otu says, after all the stresses I have to go through, I've come to the conclusion that it is better to buy, hopefully a customized one. Lawrence Kwafu says, building has many advantages, but the major drawback is the land security. If you are not lucky, you lose both the land and the structure on it, and that's a personal experience. Carl Ahude is writing from Liberia. He says here in Liberia, building is usually the preferred option because of the experience of dishonest people and you encounter in the process of building. And that is a perspective from Liberia. Pastor Jerry Panu says the major challenge with building in Ghana is land litigation, but the benefits are enormous. I'm going to ask my guests to speak to some of the big issues that are coming up from your comments. Arthur Robert says the best route is a mix of two. Buy a service plot and then build it yourself. Samuel Okan Boy says buying perhaps is the ideal way, but building is not bad when one has a trusted developer to manage the process. Kobiasma just gives a checklist. He says, Charlie, the answer is not a yes or no. It depends on the first time buyer, whether the person is a first time buyer, whether it is cash or mortgage, whether it's the cash flow of the person, whether it's for investment or personal use, whether the age of the buyer, the value of the house. Say, Kobi, Charlie, you're from Preko. Oh my, 10 points. All right. He asked even the temperament of it. Oh, you are saying he even had the tribe. Nana Kofi Buedi rising from London says, for first-time buyers who have a steady job but don't have access to capital, you are safe to jump on the housing ladder through a mortgage. Kwesi Che Dakwa KKD says, building takes more time if you choose not to be beholden to the coattails of bankers or lenders. Building allows you to create the peculiar space you desire for your family and yourself, and you get to experience the highs and lows of creating a controlled habitat. Christian Diaba says, to build would have been better and less expensive, but these artisans need close supervision by a professional. Let me end this round with the thoughts of Peter Achuchikata, who is a housing person, and he says, all these uncompleted houses you see dotted all over the place in Ghana are truly hard-earned cash buried in concrete, not generating any income over the long periods of being idle and uncompleted. Something that Samuel Ewu alluded to. But let me come back to you, Alan, for your rebuttal and your response to the thoughts raised by Samuel Ewu. He makes a very strong point about the benefits to the nation, to the municipality, to the building industry, and most importantly to the individual. What will be your response to that, Alan?
My response is very simple. We should not allow our government and our municipalities to be lazy. It's as simple and straightforward as that. What is happening in Ghana, which must be controlled and which my friend was capitalizing on, is the fact that we have left selling of building plots to the traditional authorities, which is a very wrong approach to this whole building thing. We must build, and we must build by getting land that has been organized by the local authorities. They must be the first point of call for land acquisition, because the buildings are built for them to benefit, and they do benefit from them. I mean, they collect all the ground rent and property tax from these people. So I believe strongly that we must build our own, but we must build based on planned municipalities by the municipal assemblies. They shouldn't leave that planning to individuals and to local authorities. In your opinion,
once the land issue is resolved, it's build.
Yeah, build.
Right. Let me come to Samuel.
Okay.
Samuel, you tried to point to the fact that ultimately it's the benefit to the individual that justifies the buy option. You want to touch a bit on that?
Yes, Albert. The stress of land acquisition in Ghana at the moment, and the time it takes you to register your land, to legitimize your land, it takes so long. I don't know. I mean, anybody who has bought land in this country will attest to the double sale scenarios, having to contend with land guards and all kinds of things. I think that if you buy with a mortgage, you have the benefit of the house immediately. That is very important. Alan alluded earlier on that people who buy are people who may not have planned early enough and waited till later, but that's not true. Why will I commit hard-earned currency and lock it into a project that cannot look finished for me to occupy and have full benefit now, and just be doing it, excuse how I put it, lala sulala, on a building? No. You can.
How do you spell lala sulala?
No, you can actually plan well enough, look at your resources today, and determine what kind of house I can arrange to buy, which will be supported by my income today, so that I have a decent place to live with family.
The biggest argument most people have against buying seems to be two things. One is expensive, huge money up front. And two, it seems to be seeping through from the comments on social media that people think that when they buy, they get houses built with inferior materials. You want to speak to that?
Yes, Albert, it is a rather erroneous impression that buying is more expensive than building. I will tell you, if you take the build, if you take the developments that are done for sale, it's done mostly by developers who acquire the land, put in layout and infrastructure, and then they build the house. Every development on the average has 35% of the cost component as cost of land and infrastructure. And the reason why you would want to buy from an organized neighborhood is that it gives the property you have value. There's a difference between cost and value of a property.
It's a big issue. We'll come back to that very, very shortly. So it's 20 minutes to the hour of 8 o'clock. If you just joined us, Samuel Lewood is saying that don't just think about the cost, also think about the value, the resale value. There's some cars out there when you buy them, it's nice, but when you are selling them, nobody will buy. So buy a property that when you have to sell, the value would have gone up by some margin. In the meantime, Alan says, listen, it's not even a debate. Just let the local authorities and the owners of land organize the sale of land properly. Once that is done, it's a build all the way. When I come back, I'm going to come to Alan and to Samuel to respond to more of the questions that are coming from our listeners. But let me go to our Data is King segment. A simple question: should roommates plan to own a house together and just split it, joint hall, maybe separate bedrooms? It's something that we should be thinking about and talking about, even if you don't do it. From some research that came out from the United Kingdom. Let's take it away.
So, our Data is King segment provides credible data for decision making, analysis, and prediction. And tonight, our statistic is on first-time home buyers in the UK. So, according to Money Supermarket, far fewer young people in the UK own a home now. During the last 40 years, the proportion of 16 to 24-year-olds owning their own home has declined from 33% to 10%. Two key reasons explain this trend. Number one is that there is greater financial barrier. So salaries have risen at a slow pace. And number two, tougher housing market. House prices have risen steeply. So the question we are asking is, do you think shared ownership could help you get on the housing ladder, the property ladder?
Right. So I'm going to ask my guest, but before that, the statistic that led to this research, according to the same Money Supermarket, Alan and Sam, was that 85% of 25 to 34-year-olds in the UK are more likely to be saving for a home than other age groups. Alan, you mentioned that at 25, by all means, you should be either moving towards or planning to own your home. And in the UK, they are saying that 85% of 25 to 34-year-olds are more likely to be on the road. to owning their own homes, and they are saying that number has dropped slightly for the 16 to 24-year-olds because of rising cost of homes, and then also salaries that are not rising fast enough. But to even have a conversation about housing ownership by 16 to 24-year-olds tell us that it is, in other economies, owning a house is almost a given. It's not a debate at all about whether you should own. And so that's one point that is very strongly represented by these statistics. But the issue about joint ownership doesn't make sense.
It depends on it. One of the things I will advocate is most people stampede themselves into failure by attempting to build what they call their dream home,
right,
from scratch or from the onset. The first thing you must do is find a roof over your house. Get into it, then you can plan better that dream house. Because normally, when you attempt to build your dream house, and all those people who want to build, they should listen to me. 4-bedroom house, 5-bedroom house with a room for each child is a non-starter. It's a non-starter in the sense that your children are supposed to leave home, and they will leave you in that big house, and you won't have any use for it. So plan for the optimum space. But I believe that if you are starting, like you're saying, it will not be out of place for two young people to go get a piece of land and build units that can accommodate them at that point in time on it.
I'm always looking for exciting solutions that young people can apply immediately and get some value. And one point you made, Alan, that I find very helpful, and that came up also from our last month's discussion with Cecil and Dansua, was that don't try to start life with a dream house. Don't go for a 5-bedroom.
No way.
I mean, whether you are building or buying, start with something modest, and then with time you can add on, you can graduate, you can sell and rebuy another one, anything. But let me come to you. I almost said Merino. Culturally, are we pro joint ownership?
No, culturally we are not pro joint ownership. The kind of system we have here, I would rather people come together and acquire a certain parcel of land big enough.
Like an acre?
No, like 10 acres.
Okay.
And team up to do the infrastructure or layout or plan their own neighborhood, even if they want to build. And I'm saying that because
thank you very much.
I'm saying that because most of the time the built environment, the self-built environment is very uncoordinated. Somebody's front is facing somebody's back. Somebody's waste is being discharged into somebody's front, and it's terrible. So even if people need to come together to have some joint ownership, I think we should rather be looking at joint owning space of land and planning that space together, and then also getting some professionals to actually plan it for them before they begin to build, if they want to even do anything related to joint ownership. But culturally, it's difficult for even siblings to want to own a piece of property.
Because your soup will be subject to audit.
It will create all kinds of problems.
All right, let me go for the game changer segment, and Jojo will be telling us about planning. Both sides of the argument strongly spoke about planning. So let's find out what Jojo has to say about planning on the game changer segment. But I will tell you this, when I come back, I'm going to tell you the official results of the poll over 48 hours. 800 votes. Let's find out what they are saying. Are they saying that they are still on the traditional trajectory of building, or they have been convinced by the recent developments to consider buying? Please don't go away.
So earlier this week, we were preparing for a long-distance trip. The roads were terrible, and we were actually dreading the journey. Before we left, my colleague asked the driver if he had a rope to tow the car if we got stuck. Beaming with pride, the driver said, "This car is very strong. It's like it has an inbuilt winch. It cannot get stuck." We were in the dry season, so we just nodded our heads and forgot about it. After an eventful day that involved pushing a stranger's car and fixing a flat tire, we were just looking forward to a full night's rest. And then the unthinkable happened. It started raining, and a wrong turn meant we were suddenly stuck in the mud. The car with the so-called inbuilt winch roared with fury and tried to dig itself out, but we were well and truly stranded. We flagged down a passing truck, and although 10 strong men stopped to help us push the car, nothing happened. We needed to be towed, but surprise, surprise, we didn't have a rope. For just a moment, it looked like we were going to have to sleep in the forest, but luckily, the truck driver lent us his rope. Within 2 minutes, the car we had spent over an hour trying to push got dragged out of the mud. This week, our game changer is planning. By planning ahead and bringing a rope, we could have saved ourselves hours of anxiety, stress, and a few pairs of ruined shoes. Planning is even more critical for our businesses. Per the Harvard Review, startups which plan ahead are 16% more likely to be successful than those that don't. Another study of over 11,000 businesses showed that planning helped businesses to grow 30% faster and actually benefited existing businesses even more than startups. Archbishop Richard Cushing put it best: always plan ahead. It wasn't raining when Noah built the ark. This week, let us purposefully plan while the sun is bright in the sky so that we can smile when it starts raining. This has been the Game Changer with Jojo Okran. Have a phenomenal week.
Right, so planning. It wasn't raining when Noah built the ark. So whether you are building or you are buying, you must plan. I'm going to give you the results very shortly, but the phone lines are open. The number to call 030-221-6541. That's the number to call if you want to contribute to this discussion. 030-221-6541 or 0244-340-437. When you call, it's a simple question. Do you believe in building or you believe in planning? Let me take a message from our sponsors. When I come back, the phone lines are open. You can call now, 030-221-6541 or 0244-340-437. Let's take a message and then let's take your calls.
UMB was established in 1972 as the premier bank for the corporate and private sector in Ghana. From our very beginning, as the only Ghanaian bank serving all categories of businesses, we set a standard for excellence and innovation. Over the past 45 years, we've built a financially healthy and strong bank, demonstrated our commitment to our customers and to growing businesses, and exhibited originality and innovation at every turn. At UMB, our focus is built around people, service, products, and technology. These are the key to our present success and our future triumphs. At UMB, we're poised to make a difference not only with our customers, but also in the banking industry. We invite you to share in our future. Our future starts now with you.
How do you intend to sustain yourself when you retire?
My children will take care of me when I'm retired. I am a professional. I can work till 80.
Some people leave their retirement to chance. How are you planning yours? Your attitude today can help you avoid struggling to survive when you retire. With 50 Ghana cedis monthly investment in the Axis Pension Plan, you can accumulate 700,000 Ghana cedis in 30 years. This investment will guarantee you retirement income that far exceeds your current income. Visit www.axispension.com to sign up or call 0302-543-287 or 0544-321-966 for details. Axis Pension Trust, your reliable partner in pensions.
030-221-6541 is the number to call, and the question is simple: to build or to buy? Isan Kuma says it's not an absolute theory, but it depends on whether the house is a home or an investment property. Building also involves an emotional investment that is best suited for when you're going to live in it by yourself. But if you are more interested in renting out, it is better to buy. So he just provides a very simple perspective. Not rent or buy, but if you are living in it, consider building because of the emotional investment. All right. So hello, good evening.
Good evening, Albert.
Could you kindly lower the volume on your radio set so we can hear you very clearly? Your name, please.
Okay, Albert. My name is Barry. I'm calling from Agogo.
So Barry, are you in favor of building or buying?
In fact, Albert, for me, it is both ways. Actually, depending on your age, I would say that if you are very young and you are looking at the owning a house in the future, you should start planning to build. But then you get to a certain age in your life where, depending on what you are doing and the perks you are getting, you might have an opportunity to be able to make an outright purchase, and I think you should take it.
Thank you very much, Parry. Let me leave it here so I can get a number of other calls. So you are saying that it works both ways, but the age should be a factor. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Kingsley, what do you vote for, build or buy?
No, I voting for building because I'm a lecturer in building technology.
So Kingsley, because you're a lecturer, you vote for building?
Yes, because land acquisition and all that, and shoddy materials have it, and then financing it. We don't have the rate. The inflation is something, so you can go in, they will lobby you into it. When you get into it, you will really know that you can't finish paying until you retire.
Thank you very much, Kingsley. So you think we should build and we should not buy? All right, let me take a couple more. Hello, good evening.
Okay, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, your name, where are you calling from?
Michael, I'm calling from East Legon.
Michael, are you voting for building or buying?
I'm actually voting for building.
All right, thank you very much, Michael. Let me take a couple more, and then I'm going to come to tell you the results of that poll. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Your name, where are you calling from, please?
My name is Gabriel. I'm calling from Springboard.
Gabriel, are you building or buying?
Okay, so for me, it depends on the situation. If the person is into a formal employment, then you can go for the mortgage system. But let's ask ourselves, how many people in Ghana are into the formal sector? Right, that is my issue.
Right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Gabriel. Let's take one last caller, and then the messages are just pouring. Asari from La Paz. Good evening.
Good evening.
Are you building or you are buying?
I'll go for buying because you see, one thing in our part of the world, the technicians and artisans that are supposed to help you in building a house are not, I would say, to the required standard. So if
thank you very much.
Sorry,
you will go for buying.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right. So I'll tell you something. People have very, very strong positions. Bobo, my tennis mate, says, Charlie, I will vote for building, but I will buy the land from a real estate developer rather than the Chiefs. So he will combine the two of you, buy the land from you, and then build himself. I'll give you a minute. Each to give us your closing thoughts. But coming up next is a Walk with Jesus, and the topic is parenting in the digital world. I love that one. The guest is Reverend Oscar Siripi, and on phone we're joined by Kofi Dazi, CEO of Rankard, and the host, Pastor Abraham. Are you hosting the show, or it is Pastor Atu, or it is Pastor Ransford? All right. So it's a Walk with Jesus right after this. But let me give a closing thoughts to Alan and Sam, but not before I tell you the results of the online poll. As at when I checked 5 minutes ago, 795 of our viewers or our subscribers on Facebook had voted on this poll about to build or to buy since Friday. 596, representing 75% of the vote, say they will build. 25%, 199 people say they will buy. Maybe while we are talking, one was added to make it 200. Actually, I think while you think building is a stress-free solution, I think we've come some way from the original idea of building to buying, but there's still some ground to cover in terms of getting more people to see the buying as the ideal solution.
Yeah, indeed. But I think it's just because people in making the choice to buy need to go through certain processes to determine the right sources where they should buy from. And there are things to do, due diligence, checking the website of the developer, going to their site.
So would it be your contention that if you find the right developer, it's a buy?
It's a buy.
All right. Alan, your closing thoughts.
Well, in the book, The Richest Man in Babylon says there's a clause that says that build a home in which your children can play without disturbing your neighbors.
And that only can happen when you build and you don't buy.
Huge. Plot, small building. So they can play the ball over the wall. But don't eat your doors, don't wear your windows, don't squander your floor tiles in junk food. Save.
That's about lifestyle change. We'll talk about that in our subsequent program.
No,
before we go tonight, I want to remind you that the Springboard Roadshow starts from Kumasi this weekend. Our friends in KNUST will pass through KNUST on Friday and really shake it at the KNUST Entrepreneurial Clinic on Friday afternoon. I'm coming with some big friends of mine, massive people in society to come and just encourage KNUST friends to go into entrepreneurship. But on Saturday, it's at the Calvi Charismatic Center from 12 noon till 5 p.m. I'm telling you something. We won't talk about just property. We'll talk about finance. We'll talk about career. We'll talk about health. We'll talk about preparing for the future in multiple layers. And there are going to be those big wow moments where you get to win a laptop, a brand new smartphone, loads of airtime, and cash. Charlie, if you have a talent and you want to win a prize for that talent, just call the number 024-9999-555 and they'll show you how to register for the talent show at Springboard. But the Accra event, the global convocation, is on the 21st of March. In between that is Cape Coast on the 7th of March. My name is Albert Okran, and a big thank you to Alan Okome Mensah Kwame and Samuel Merino Ewu for joining us for this debate. Both of you are winners because you've given our listeners invaluable information to help them make the right choices, and you've answered some of the crucial questions on their hearts and minds. I want to say a big thank you, and God bless you. Good night.
Yeah. He's a return around.